What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the On Deck Sports Podcast. I'm your host, James Torillo, and today it is the three of us. It is myself, James Torillo, Nick Volpe on the right, and Cody Pearson on the left. What's going on, guys? We have some pretty good stuff to talk about today. One thing that I want to go over that we were kind of just discussing right before we started recording, the Yankees just lifted that rule on the facial hair that, Nick, you actually didn't even know about.
No, I did not.
What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I know some people wanted it to happen. A bunch of the old heads probably aren't very happy. I don't think it should have happened. It was such a long-standing tradition. Like, if you're going to change it, you could have changed it so much long ago. I feel like it would have been better. Like, now it just feels like it's already been a tradition. Why are you changing it now?
I agree. I think a lot of people have always said over the years how stupid it is, but even as somebody like me who, I'll admit, the Yankees are my least favorite team. I hate the Yankees. But that's like if the Yankees stopped wearing pinstripes. That's their thing, you know? Like, their thing is the pinstripes and the no facial hair. Like, they're that old school ball club that's been around since the 1800s or the early 1900s, whatever. You can't change that. That's like I was telling you guys before in our group chat, I was saying, like, that the floor that the Celtics have on their home court, you know, like that design they have. Like, I hate it. I hate the Celtics. But, like, they can't take that away. It's tradition.
Yeah.
It's like if the Lakers didn't wear purple and gold, or, you know, the Cowboys changed their logo or something. You can't do that, you know? It's just those iconic things that should never change. It's one of those. And I know it's something, like, a little silly, but I feel like you can't do away with something that's tradition like that. And as much as I hate the Yankees, they are a very, very popular sports team, arguably the most popular team in sports. It's probably them and like the Dodgers and Lakers, Celtics. So I don't think you can change a tradition like that, but that's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think. Nick, you didn't even know about it, right?
No, I had no idea.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. That's like a very popular thing. Like, I'm surprised you didn't know that.
Never heard about it once, but I mean, now I do.
Yeah. I was just telling you this before we started recording, but Phil Bickford, a former reliever on the Dodgers, he was released by the Dodgers because he was not very good. And he ended up signing with the Yankees like a week later. And he had long blonde hair. If you know Phil Bickford, you know what I'm talking about. He had long blonde hair and he had a beard, mustache, all this facial hair. And the Yankees signed him, so he had to shave it all. And he looked completely different, which he probably didn't want to do because he had his long hair for a reason. I'm sure he liked it. And then he got cut like 5 days later. He was on the team for like 5 games. And so now he's not on a team and he just shaved his head for nothing. So kind of unfortunate for him, but I guess that's just how it goes. I guess you, to play for a Major League Baseball team, I guess you
Gotta make some sacrifices.
Yeah, you got to make some sacrifices. Exactly. There was also Alex Verdugo, who was on the Red Sox and the Dodgers before, and he had like this beard and mustache and always had it throughout his career. And then when he shaved it, I remember everyone like making like jokes about it, like you can't even recognize the guy, like because he's just like clean shaven. You don't even recognize him. So definitely a weird thing to wake up to this morning. I was not expecting that to ever change. Yeah. What are some other good sports traditions like that the Yankees had? Like trying to think. There's just some like iconic things that I was listing, like the Celtics court.
I would say the Red Wings with the octopus on the ice.
Oh, that is sick. Cody, do you know about that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So speaking of hockey, we have to talk about how Cody is now in hockey because I don't think. I mean, when was the last time you had watched hockey on your own, like willingly, like without us just having it on? You know?
Never.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's really cool, and we also have some stuff planned for next week.
Oh.
Going to Flyers Penguins in Pittsburgh.
There we go. See you there.
You better be coming.
I got work.
Take off.
I can't.
Please. Please.
I'll
You
talk.
need to be there. I'm not going without you.
Sounds like me and Dylan are going alone then, guys. See you there. We'll film some.
You work Friday?
And Saturday.
What if we took 2 cars and you just went back Friday morning?
What day's the game?
Thursday night.
Who would go back Friday morning?
I guess just you.
You know what? I'll go back Friday morning with you if you want.
Whoa! You can't do that. No. You said that
10-hour drive day. Drive there and then drive back.
I mean, I want you to come. I
I
mean,
want to come, but
or you could just take off.
Or just not show. Nah, you can't.
Just
not show.
can you get like coverage and just take their shift for like another day?
I could try, but there's no way I could do both days.
You could get coverage for Friday, and then you could go back like Friday night or
We
Saturday.
can talk
morning.
about this after the podcast.
Yeah, well, we
Let's
can
talk
talk about it right
about-
now too. It's sports.
It's sports, yeah.
We're
I
seeing
guess so.
Flyers Penguins. We're seeing Flyers Penguins.
It's gonna be
Speaking
very
of Flyers, Flyers hockey's back tomorrow. So
thank God.
I know. I've loved the Four Nations face-off. I thought it was incredible.
It was sick.
yeah.
It was cool.
I know.
Too
there's-
bad the U.S. lost, but
Yeah.
it was cool.
Great game last night, though.
Yeah,
Great
It was a
game.
great game.
Not to brag, but I did predict the exact score in overtime and who would get the game winner on Mayor Media.
Dang.
Wow.
So yesterday,
How'd that go? I forget.
It feels like the most
it was good.
predictable outcome, though. Like McDavid scoring in overtime.
Yeah, we had a stream for Mayor Media, and that's I don't know if everybody knows what that is. That's a company that covers the Flyers that I work for. We had a stream last night. We watched the game together, and I made a video earlier yesterday with my score prediction. I said Canada would win 3-2 in overtime. And then last night during the stream before overtime started, we all made our predictions on who would get the game-winning goal. And I said, great players make great plays. It's going to be Connor McDavid. And I was right. So that was pretty cool. So Canada won 3-2 in overtime. McDavid got the game winner. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't rooting for anybody necessarily because, like, normally I root for USA, but there was no Flyers on that team, and they had 3 Rangers, and they had, like, there's nobody on that team where I'm like, oh, I can root for him, even though it's USA. Like, if USA won, I wouldn't have been, like, jumping up and down because they won. But, like, when Canada scored that game winner, I was like, dang, this kind of sucks. Because now, like, I got to go on Instagram, and all these hockey accounts are posting, like, oh, hockey's ours, hockey's Canada's sport. Like, looking back on it, I was like, dang, I kind of wish USA won now. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't care, but then when it happened, I was like, it would have been cool
Hey.
just like to.
If Canada didn't win, we wouldn't have seen Connecting get picked up by.
That was so
That was so
funny.
funny.
That was so funny. Did you see that, Cody?
No, I
Oh, he turned it off immediately.
turned off the
Oh.
TV
Brad,
after US
Brad
lost.
Marchand gets Connecting on like into like piggyback,
Mm-hmm.
and he just starts like waddling across or starts
I didn't
skating
even
across
know-
the ice.
Did he even play? I thought he.
No,
Connectney didn't. So
That's what I thought.
they
I
were
was
giving
like,
the medals out to the players after they won, and they were calling them name by name in number order, and they called Connectney, and he didn't have his skates on. He just had like his like regular clothes on, so he couldn't skate across the ice to get his medals. So Brad Marchand gave him a piggyback ride across the ice and
funny.
dropped him off, and then he got his medal and he like waddled off the ice afterwards. It was great. It
That's
was really
funny.
funny. I was cracking up about that.
That's funny.
Didn't expect those two to get along like that. Brad Marchand and Connectney. I feel like they're both antagonists. I feel like they would.
it just meshes. It just works.
I guess so. It's like when they're on the same team, love each other. But when on opposite teams,
yeah,
like if Brad Marchand was on like USA and Connectney was on Canada, they'd
be beefing.
they would be one of the guys that fought that one game for sure.
very possible.
Like, I don't know. They're just both antagonists like that. So I was surprised to see that. But that was hilarious. That was hilarious. Paul won over $100 last night.
What do you bet on?
He bet a goal in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah,
He bet McDavid anytime goal, Canada to win. And then it was like different players to get like a certain amount of shots on goal. And it was like $5 that paid out to like 120
Dang.
something.
very nice.
There you
So
go.
yeah, that was really good. It was funny because he's not Canadian, but like when McDavid scored the game winner, going into overtime, he knew he had 2 parlays, one for USA and one for Canada. And for the USA one to hit, he just needed USA to win. Like he had other stuff that hit throughout the game, and when it went to overtime, he just needed USA to win. And then for the Canada one, he had everything hit, but he needed a McDavid goal and
win.
Canada to win.
Yeah.
So he needed either McDavid to score the game winner or USA just to win. And when McDavid scored, he was like jumping up and down because he turned 21 like 3 days ago. So
And
that was like his first
firing
bet.
them out.
Yeah.
And no, that was like his first like real parlay. And he made $100. And so Chris was all pissed off. He was like, this dude's been 21 for 3 days. He just made $100. And Chris bet on a Marchand goal, and it didn't happen. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun with them. But a lot to talk about. We have the Four Nations face-off was incredible for
Yep.
sure.
Yep.
I'm glad that hockey is finally back. I know, like I said, the tournament was great, but I'm glad Flyers hockey's finally back tomorrow. We take on the Oilers at 1:00. Nick, of course, you're a Flyers fan, just like me. Cody, you're now a Flyers fan. Can we
Yeah,
say that?
yeah,
Woo! Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So
We,
what were you gonna say?
oh no, I was just saying you're talking right now. You're about to say it.
What do we think about the rest of the season? I know there's a lot of Flyer fans that have different opinions on what they want the Flyers to do the rest of the way. Like some people want them to lose every game for a better draft pick. Me personally, I can't root against the Flyers. I love the Flyers way too much to say, oh, I hope they lose the rest of their games. Like when I'm watching the game, I want the Flyers to win. I don't care who they're playing. I don't care if they're 0-81. I don't care if they're 81-0. I want the Flyers to win. So I don't care if they have the 7th pick or the 10th pick, really. I just want them to win hockey games because to me, and I said this on Mayor Media, but I'll say it on here as well. To me, in a rebuild, you need to take a step in the right direction. I hate when people just want their teams to lose every game during a rebuild so they get a better draft pick. But if your team, like let's say the Flyers finish dead last in the Metro, or they're like second to last in the Eastern Conference, and they're only better than like Buffalo. Last year, they almost made the playoffs. So that is taking a step in the wrong direction.
Sure.
We almost made the playoffs last year. We got Michkov. Michkov's solid so far. And now we go way downhill. That's a step in the wrong direction. I don't care if we get a better draft pick. Going into this year, and I think you can agree with me, I thought we were going to be a playoff team. I thought we were going to be like a wild card team, or at least competing for it. Right now, we're what, 10 points out of a playoff spot or something?
Are we even that far out though? Is it that?
Where's a playoff spot? How high do you have to be?
So it's the top 3 in each division, and then 2 wild cards. So
Top 3 in each division, 2 wild cards.
I feel like we're not that far out though.
the last wild card spot is the Red Wings. They have 61. Oh, we're not that far out.
Yeah,
We're
6
6 points out.
6 points.
But the Red Wings have 2 games in hand, and there's a ton of teams in between.
That's right.
So the Red Wings have 61 points. They have the last playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. The Flyers have 55. But they have 2 games in hand, meaning we have 2 games played more. But the teams in between the Red Wings and Flyers are the Penguins, Canadiens, Islanders, the other New York team, Bruins, and the Blue Jackets. That's a lot of teams.
That's a
to
lot of
pass.
teams.
That's a lot of teams.
Yeah.
That's including the Red Wings. That's 7 teams the Flyers would need to pass down the stretch to make the playoffs.
I feel like
Are we ruling out playoffs for this season?
it's just so tight. You really can't yet. Well, I feel like the Bruins are going to get worse because they lost McAvoy. They're not going to get better.
I'm not high on the Bruins. I'm not high on. Let me go back to
Well,
this.
no, I'm just saying, even if you're not high on them, they still lose McAvoy. They're going to drop down more. I would say they're going to drop down.
Yeah, I'm not high on the teams in between the Red Wings and Flyers that I'm not worried about. Like, if we're going to make a playoff push, these aren't the teams that I'm worried about getting in the way. Penguins are not good. Canadiens are not good. Islanders, they've been hot recently before the break, but that's really it.
It's just their team.
Like, they had won like 6 in a row, but before that, they
Things
were
with them, they
nowhere close.
always bring a game to overtime, even if they lose. So
Yeah.
they're always getting a point, so that's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. Rangers, Bruins, they're better than the Flyers, don't get me wrong, but they're nothing crazy. Like, they could miss the playoffs, for sure.
It's possible.
Blue Jackets, Flyers could pass them, and then the Red Wings. So, the only problem with the Red Wings is that they're 6 games over 500, not counting overtime losses. So, it's going to be a close race. I'll be honest, I don't think the Flyers are going to make the playoffs, but it would be fun to see them just in the mix because last year, even though they didn't make it, every game meant something. Going into the last game against Washington, they weren't mathematically eliminated. They had a chance.
Yeah.
And I want it to be like that down the stretch where we're like, oh, well, if we win and these teams lose, we have a chance. Like, I want it to be like that. I don't want it to be,
Over 5 games before the season's over.
I don't want there to be a month left in the season and we're, we don't even care anymore. I don't want that. So hopefully things can turn around. I would expect them to make moves at the deadline. I'd be shocked if Lawton doesn't get traded. I'm surprised he hasn't been traded in the last 3 deadlines, but
We'll see.
yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But we also have spring training that started yesterday. Cubs Dodgers was the first game. Cubs won 12-4, but just spring training, so I can't really be too worried about that. But I'm so excited baseball's back. I know it's not your guys' favorite sport, but for me, I think it's
Pretty good.
it's my favorite, and I cannot wait for baseball season to start again. It's only about a month until Dodgers Cubs in Korea. I think they're playing in. I think so.
Were
yeah.
they in Korea last year or were they in Japan last year? 'Cause either.
Buddy's looking at me just because I'm Asian. Like,
No.
I know.
No, I don't. I'm trying to think. I think they were in like Tokyo last year. I think.
And they're probably in. Let me look it up. You can look it up.
They're in Korea because
You sure?
because Yamamoto and Sasaki are pitching, and that was like a big deal, and Imanaga's pitching for the Cubs, so that was like the main storyline behind that 2-game series with LA and Chicago.
It's saying Tokyo.
That's what I thought. I thought it was in Japan. Because
Am I just like stupid?
I don't know. I
isn't
don't know.
Rookie,
Yeah, it's saying-
he's Japanese, isn't he? And Yamamoto, they're both Japanese.
Yeah.
That's why they're pitching in Japan.
What did I say?
Korea.
Korea.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. Okay.
That's
I
Because
don't,
I'm on the podcast.
I
Doesn't
don't-
mean
I
we
don't-
always have to talk about Korea.
I thought I was talking about Japan, but okay. Anyways,
Wow.
so
Wow.
sorry, my fault.
we all look the same.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun series, and it's only a month away. But we unfortunately are like a million days until the NFL season, which is I know your guys' favorite sport, but is that your favorite sport, Nick?
Yeah.
Football? Yeah.
It's just the atmosphere of the season.
Peak.
It's just.
Yeah.
I love the fact that it's just like the one game a week like that. It has so much more weight
Right.
than every other game.
Yeah,
like,
they almost most games matter.
Yeah.
In the NFL.
they
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah, definitely. I am a little worried about
The Rams.
yes, because and I know I bring it up every episode with Cooper Kupp, but this some more talking about Matt Stafford because we know Kupp is gone, which
Yeah.
sucks. He's my favorite player. It sucks, but Stafford, if
Might
we
be
lose,
gone.
if we, I don't think we're gonna trade Stafford, but the more stuff I see about it, the more I get a little convinced.
Were
Like,
you seeing that
like,
thing about the Giants offering a third round,
That's
the
not
third
gonna
overall
happen.
pick?
That's not
I'm saying if you were the owner of or the GM of the Rams and they give you a third round pick, you are 100% taking that, right?
I mean, you kind of have to, but
It's
it's
just-
like this isn't a very stacked quarterback draft. I feel like I'm not high on like any of these QBs coming in the
I
draft this year.
Yeah. Cam Ward, I think, is by far the best. And then I don't think Shadur is near as good as
I don't
Cam
think he's
Ward.
by far the best, but I could agree he would be
He's
the best quarterback. Yeah.
yeah. And then the drop off between like Cam Ward and Shadur between like the rest, Quinn Ewers and Will Howard and all the rest, I think is pretty big.
Right.
Jackson Dart.
Yeah, that's one of the guys. He's like projected to go like round 2, isn't he?
Yeah.
I've seen like mock drafts about that, like different fan bases wanting their team to draft him. But I would love for the Rams to keep Stafford for another year and try to win a Super Bowl and draft a quarterback in like the second round, like Dart, or even if you got to get him late in the first, get him because we were not far from beating the Eagles, and if we beat the Eagles, we most likely beat Washington, and who knows what can happen in the Super Bowl. Rams could have won the Super Bowl if they beat the Eagles.
Sure.
They're not that far away from being a championship team. So I think if we just keep Stafford, I would like to keep Kupp. I know it's not going to happen, but draft a quarterback for the future, have him sit behind Stafford for a year. You know, we have a good year. We try to win the whole thing. We win or lose. Stafford retires, and the next guy comes in.
He's due for a contract, right?
Yeah, well, no, but they want to like restructure it. I think he wants it like restructured because I think he just wants more money, and it's also another thing we could talk about, the salary cap went up,
Yep, just went up by
So,
about
30
20 to 40 million, depending on the team.
and Cup's getting paid like 27, so we could just use that to keep him. But what do I know?
I
So,
hope the Bills re-sign James Cook.
yeah,
He's
that's true.
looking for a good contract. I think 15 mil is what he's asking, and with this cap raise,
Not too bad.
it's more possible.
15 mils a lot
it's
for a
with
running
Saquon.
back.
It is,
No.
but
we
I
see that
think
running backs.
I think as a whole, the running backs are on a rise. I think they're all going to get paid more.
Yeah, but
Coming up.
where would you rank James Cook amongst running backs in football?
Top 10.
I'd say
Yeah.
top 10.
Yeah, I'd say top 10.
You'd give him 15 million a year?
Probably not 15. I think a little bit lower than that, but
like
if we
12 maybe.
had to, I wouldn't be like that much against it. I really like James Cook. I think he's going to be really good. So
Right.
I'd pay him
Um,
more like 10 to 12 mil probably.
Yeah. How much is Barkley making?
12.
Okay. So, I mean, Cook
Yeah.
shouldn't be making more than that. Right.
Yeah, but Barkley
Barkley
is
took a cut.
very underpaid, I think.
He's a
Yeah, but
Like he's making less than a bunch of wide receiver twos, which is crazy.
yeah, that is nuts. That's crazy to me. Like how it's crazy to me how in sports like there's just so different like salaries. Like, I think it's Rantanen who's going to be a free agent in the NHL after this season. People are talking about like, is he going to get paid like 14 mil? Like that's considered like a ton. That would be
Yeah.
like the most in the league, 14 million a year. That's like in baseball, like
nothing.
that's
Yeah.
like a Dodgers bench player
Yeah.
is getting like Michael Conforto is getting paid more than that, and he's going to be like a fringe starter for the Dodgers in the outfield.
Yeah.
And that's more than one of the best players in hockey. Like how much is McDavid making? Probably around
12, I think.
12, 13. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So like, and he's the best athlete in the world, maybe behind Shohei. So, and Shohei's getting paid. I mean, what?
700 million.
Technically, with the deferred money, it's like $2 million a year, but it's gonna turn out to be like 700
yeah.
million.
Yeah, like 10 years, Dodgers are going to be poverty. They're going to have no money.
That's what everybody's saying, but I think if we just like we have these guys like locked up, but then we also have a good farm system. So if we like
Yeah. You're going
Call
to be an okay team. You're just going to have no money.
Yeah.
You're just going to be broke.
we're not going to be able to make
You guys just
big
got to win
moves in free
now.
agency.
You win like
Yeah.
exactly.
win now.
I mean, look, I mean, and this applies to any team in sports. If you have a 10-year dynasty where you win like 5 championships and then you stink for a little bit after,
That's okay.
it's totally worth it. Look at the Patriots. They suck right now,
Sure.
but they won 6 Super Bowls.
Patriots are going to be on the rise like very soon. Yeah,
You think so?
I do.
I like Drake May.
Drake
I
May's
do.
good.
He just has nothing around him.
Vrabel is a very underrated coach.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Vrabel's going to be good
I
with
was
Drake May, I think.
I was surprised he didn't get hired anywhere else this past year.
I think he didn't get hired because he knew he was going to be a Patriot.
That's
I-
most likely what it
Yeah,
was.
I remember you saying that to me.
Yeah.
He's in the Patriots Hall of Fame, so
Mhm.
I mean, I would be surprised if he didn't take that offer. I can't believe Bill Belichick's not a head coach in the NFL.
It's
That's
crazy.
absurd.
That is absurd.
Dallas should have hired him.
Jerry would not have wanted him because he wants GM control, and then you can.
Show everybody your shirt.
Oh
yes. Show everybody your shirt. Yes. Jerry makes me drink.
It's true. Yeah, it's been a rough day yesterday. I was in no mood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Zach Martin retires. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, Nick's going to be so happy.
You like the video I sent you, or like my story?
Yeah. And you like never post on your stories. So if it gets on Nick's Instagram story,
It's
that
the-
means it's important.
That was important.
Do you still want the Cowboys to draft Ashton Genty, or do you want them to draft O-line now? First round.
Good question.
It's our O line is unsavable as of right now.
It's pretty.
It's bad. It's not
Yeah,
good.
it is. It is.
It's we just lost top 5 guard of all time, possibly. We can argue about this.
Okay.
He more all pros than holding penalties. I don't
Yeah.
want to
That's absurd, dude.
Yeah.
0 holding on pass plays.
Yeah.
He's
Ever?
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest of all time.
Wait, you're telling me he never held on a passing play?
Look it up.
Ever. I'm
like
not saying I
that.
don't believe you, but that's not like
He's like
possible.
that. He's
Like,
like
that's like
that.
not possible.
Yeah,
That's
insane.
absurd.
One of
And
the
he
great-
played for like what? 14 years. 14 years he never got a holding penalty on a passing
Yep.
play.
That's insane.
Dude,
That's unheard of.
he's one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
It's not even close.
That's nasty.
that's unbelievable.
Looking at a mock draft right now, it has the Cowboys taking a corner
Yes, from Iowa, right?
from Michigan.
From
Will
Michigan?
Johnson.
Will Johnson.
Will Johnson.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Has
He's
it.
very good.
Wait, are you on Tankathon or what are you on right now?
ESPN.
ESPN. Because Tankathon had us taking Genti.
Tankathon?
Tankathon, yeah.
That's a thing?
Yeah. You
Tankathon?
didn't know that?
No, what is that?
It shows you where every team's draft pick is.
Huh.
Dallas is picking at 12. It has them taking Will Johnson.
Will Johnson's a great player. I think he's going to be like a stud cornerback. He's really good.
If we re-sign Rico, then I'd be okay with taking a slug corner. I have no problem with that.
I think
It has the Bills also taking a Michigan player, Kenneth Grant,
okay.
the D tackle.
Where's Mason Graham going?
JT.
Couldn't tell you. Let's see.
All right, let me read this. All right, Titans, Browns, Giants, Patriots, Jags.
What's the guy's name
Okay.
you want to know?
Mason Graham. He's a defensive tackle
And
from
then here,
Michigan.
scroll down to 12, and it should, and you could click on whatever team you want.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, and it gives you all the draft picks.
Does.
Very
Ooh,
nice.
he's going at 5, it says.
To
To
who,
the
Jackson?
Jaguars.
Nice. Yeah, Mason Graham is very good. Yeah, there's a lot of guys from Michigan going into the draft, and
Yeah.
Will Johnson was hurt like all this past season, so he's probably gonna fall. So he's probably a top 5 pick.
There's going to be some good D linemen in this draft. You got Abdul Carter, the edge. He's
Yeah.
going to be nasty.
He's gonna be a beast.
He's going to be top 7 probably. It's very possible.
This has him going 2 to the Browns.
Oh, top 7 in the draft? Oh, absolutely.
I think he,
I thought you meant like a top 7 defense player in football. I was like, yeah, I could see that. But top 7 in
Yeah.
the draft, absolutely.
I think he goes top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Who's projected taking the Browns?
Yeah, the Browns. Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter.
Where do you think Myles Garrett's going?
The Bills. I hope that would be so. We need a D lineman.
If Myles Garrett stays and they draft Carter,
That's a scary D line, but
It
they
is.
have.
I don't think he's
they
gonna
have
stay.
nothing else. They're gonna have to sack the quarterback and get a fumble like every defensive drive if they want to win games.
yeah, they need a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, they just need to get
What
rid
are-
of that Watson contract.
Yeah,
That's
'cause
never gonna
I
That
mean,
was
happen.
like
You
the
can't-
worst contract
They
in Browns
can't do
history.
it. No one's going to take it.
He re-injured his Achilles or whatever, right? After he injured
yeah.
it during the season,
Didn't
he
he-
re-injured it during.
Didn't he
Rehab.
hurt like both of them or something? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
I don't know. He did something. He either hurt the other one or re-injured it during rehab.
Yeah. So
So
that's nuts.
he might be cooked.
Yeah, not might.
I
But
don't know if they're.
Speaking of Deshaun Watson, what do we think is going to happen to Justin Tucker?
oh gosh, I did not know where that was going. Speaking of Deshaun Watson is never a good start to a sentence.
Never. Apparently, like 13 more massage
More?
therapists came out.
13 more?
I mean, in all seriousness, like
If they're true, he's done.
if
He's out of the
they're
league.
true, get him out of football. You know that
It's
doesn't.
not like he was amazing this season anyway. To
It doesn't matter like how good you are though or anything. You know, if you're doing something like that, I don't care if you're the GOAT of like Tom Brady or you're a 4th string quarterback on the practice squad. If you're doing something like that off the field and it's true, erase his name from history. You know,
That's
like he should never step foot on a football field again. And I'm sure the Ravens organization would agree.
I mean, he wasn't really good anyway. So
Justin
This
Tucker.
season.
This
This
past
season.
season.
This
He's a Hall of Fame
He's a-
kicker.
yeah,
which
he's
is
a Hall of Fame
which
kicker,
is
which
one of the
is
worst parts
insane.
about it because he is one of the best kickers of all time.
Yeah.
And I was actually thinking about it yesterday. The other day I was thinking about an idea for next week's episode, and it's like I have to try to find it or I might have to make it, but you spin a wheel, and it gives you a position in sports.
and a team.
And just a position, and you have to draft a player all time from that position to your team, and you get 5 players,
Oh,
and whoever gets the best.
it's like quarterback, running back, 2 receivers, and then like a kicker or something like that. Or
yeah. So like we'd spin the wheel. It's just any position in sports,
okay.
and you get 5 athletes. So we would all get like a roster of 5 athletes,
okay.
and whoever we think has the best roster of all time athletes would win. But we'd have to spin a wheel. So like I was thinking, like hypothetically, if it lands on kicker, can't take Tucker anymore. Can't.
I mean, you can. It just
All right. No, you can't.
You can.
You can, but you shouldn't. I would take
The
Vinatieri.
NFL just started
Vinatieri.
investigating it today, I think. Justin Tucker. So
I
we'll
really
see.
hope it's not true because it's
So you can draft him in your all-time.
Yeah,
athletes.
that's why.
Yeah.
But I really hope it's not true just for the sake of him being a decent human being. Because it seems like I know this one dude on TikTok. I think his name's like Josh. He's a Ravens fan. And he was talking about it. And he was like, look, if he's guilty, get him out of the Ravens organization. Erase his name from history. We don't want you. See ya. But if it's not true, then it sucks because, you know, these false rumors are being spread. And
Even
it
if they're
sucks.
false, his career could be over.
Because even if they're false, he's always going to be known for that, and he will always get jokes about that, like from online, no matter what, and that sucks.
Yeah,
So that sucks, and it's crazy because like apparently he's like this super nice guy, and you know was like one of the biggest locker room presences in Baltimore for a decade. So hopefully it's not true,
crazy.
but unfortunately, stuff like this does happen. So, what are you gonna do? But yeah, NFL season is very, very far away. I think we already did a few episodes ago. We did our you and I did our Super Bowl predictions for next year.
We did.
You did Commanders Bills.
Yep.
I did Rams Chiefs. Nick.
It's gonna be hard not to choose Philly this year, but
Yeah. They got to lose some guys this offseason. They can't pay everybody.
Yeah, I don't think they're all on expiring contracts though.
Yeah, that's true. I think Josh Sweat might be a couple other people.
I'll say Philly Bills.
Philly Bills. Okay.
That'd be tough.
Eventually, the Bills or the Bengals got to get there.
Yeah.
I know the Bengals have been there once,
Bengals. I think Bengals are farther away than the Bills are.
but
Yeah, for sure.
I guess you can't say you know, but I would be very, very shocked if Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, who are both going to be future Hall of Famers, I would be shocked if they both didn't retire with at least one Super Bowl championship.
It just seems
I'd
like
be shocked.
It just seems like they're.
We got to get
It seems like as of right now, they're like just doomed to be those kind of players.
I really hope it doesn't end up like how like Dan Marino ended up. He's a top 5
That's what
quarterback
I'm-
of all time,
that's what
but he
I'm
never
saying.
won a
It's
championship.
gonna be like a Dan Marino sort of situation.
Yeah. I think it's a little similar to how like 10, 15 years ago, how like Tom Brady was just and the Patriots were just dominating the league. And you had guys like Peyton Manning, one of the greatest of all time, Drew Brees, one of the greatest of all time. He has several records that aren't going to be broken for a while. You had Aaron Rodgers, guys like that. Matt Ryan won an MVP, and
Ryan.
it's crazy to think Drew Brees is all-time great quarterback, top 10 quarterback of all time at least,
Mhm.
and he was never the best quarterback in the league at any point because there was always Tom Brady, there was always Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
there was always Peyton Manning, so he was never the best quarterback. He never won an MVP.
Would you put Breeze over Rodgers? Excuse me, sorry.
I wouldn't. I'm not a big fan of Aaron Rodgers, but I would take Aaron Rodgers over Brees all time for sure. Not to hate on Drew Brees, he's great, but my point is that happened like 10, 15 years ago. I think it's like history's repeating itself. Like now, instead of Brady and the Patriots, it's Mahomes and the Chiefs, and now a lot of these guys are going to have less success because they just so happen to be in the league at
against
the
this
same time
dynasty.
as so many great players like Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Mahomes. The three of them are.
Lamar.
I don't put Lamar on the same list as them. I put him on the tier below them.
That's
But
crazy.
he's great. He's great. He's great. But I don't think he's no Joe Burrow. He's no Josh Allen, and he's no Mahomes.
Okay.
I think that's fair to say. But there's guys that if you want to throw Lamar in there, fine. There's several great quarterbacks in the AFC, and obviously only one of them can even make the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. I
You
mean,
think Joe Burrow ever leaves the Bengals?
ever.
I would say yeah.
It's hard to say if he'll ever leave because I mean, even Tom Brady
Soon.
left the Patriots.
Yeah,
at one
yeah.
point,
I mean,
so.
like soon,
And, like, within the next
in,
5
in his
years.
No,
in his
no.
prime. Yeah.
No, they just need an offensive line for that guy because they If they can
A
get an offensive
defense.
line,
They need
they
defense
are one
so
of the best
bad.
teams in football.
Yeah, even
Well, their offense
even if they don't get an offensive line, they just need a defense because
their offense was-
their offense was producing this season.
They were
It's
the
just their
first-
defense
I believe they were the
couldn't do anything.
first ranked offense in the regular season last year.
They
And the
had
last ranked defense.
they had the league leader in sacks.
Triple Crown winner.
Yeah. And Joe Burrow,
The
didn't
best
he-
he was the best statistical quarterback
in football.
by-
Yeah. And they were 9-8 and didn't make the playoffs.
Yep.
That's crazy. And they were 4-8 at one point. They got hot at the end of the year and they still
Yeah.
didn't make playoffs. They
I
won
was
5
so
games in a row.
glad they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, that would've been
I was,
scary
I was
first round.
praying on their downfall.
Bills Bengals in the first round would have been so entertaining, but you're a Bills
Yeah.
fan, so I completely understand why you wouldn't want to face Cincinnati and you'd rather face
I would much rather
Denver.
face the
Denver.
Broncos.
Yeah, and that
'Cause
was
we saw
a
how that
cakewalk.
went.
Yeah, it was a cakewalk. So, yeah, I would be very surprised if the Bengals didn't get a lot better next year. They need O line. They need
They're farther away than they're just kind of like
They need
they're like just 2 steps behind everybody else. They have
Yeah.
they're probably gonna lose T Higgins. They have good offensive talent besides that, but their defense is just not good.
I just got an ESPN notification that says the Bills should do whatever it takes to get T. Higgins.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
Speaking of the Bengals,
You need to take it.
Yeah.
There you
Hmm.
go.
is he? Wait, is he? He's a free agent,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
T Higgins. Okay, because I remember there were trade rumors last year
Yeah.
with a year on his contract. Okay. I
think.
I don't see him returning to Cincinnati. I don't.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it because they have to pay Jamar Chase this season, don't they?
Eventually, and they're already paying Joe Burrow, and
Yeah.
they're gonna have to. Hendrickson has
Yeah,
a pretty hefty
Trey.
contract. So does Logan Wilson. So there's a lot of guys that are making a lot of money on that team. So I don't know how much you want to pay a wide receiver too. As good as T Higgins is,
Yep.
he's not even their best receiver. So do you want to give him?
Yeah.
Do you want to give your wide receiver two $15 million a year? Probably not.
Probably not.
So, yeah, I think the Bengals are a step in the right direction. I do, but at the same time, there need to be several upgrades or changes on that team to become a Super Bowl contender. They need to upgrade that defense in the draft somehow, make a move, do something. Draft Will Johnson, corner, maybe.
It's very potent. It's not bad.
Draft what pick do they have? Let me check.
Like 16.
Yeah, I think it's
probably.
right down.
No.
Do they have 16?
No, it can't be that.
It's probably in the middle somewhere around.
Oh, then they're not getting Will Johnson.
they
Oh, it was on your phone. I was looking at
Oh.
it.
Yeah, I got it pulled up. I'll scroll till I see it. Give me a second.
I mean,
'Cause
they
look-
can't trade up for a cornerback. They don't have enough. They have nothing to trade for or nothing to trade with. I don't think.
They could trade up. They could do a sign and trade with T. Higgins and trade him to move
They have
up.
17.
That is not a good pick.
No.
So
They
that's-
have. It has them drafting Walter Nolan, D tackle out of Ole Miss. He's pretty good.
Okay. I would. You either got to go with an offensive lineman or literally anything like that.
Maybe they trade all the way up for Abdul Carter.
I just said to Nick, they could re-sign T. Higgins and trade him to trade up in the
Yeah.
draft.
Yep.
That would be a good move.
Yeah.
But
We'll see.
I don't know how realistic
feel
that
like-
is.
There's gonna be quite a bit of moving happening this
Oh yeah.
offseason.
It's gonna be an interesting offseason.
Yeah.
For sure. And when does free agency open?
I think
Like
it's
March?
Yeah,
I think it's
Couple weeks.
Yeah.
Like a couple weeks, yeah. So
soon.
yeah, we're not
Same.
far away at all. We'll definitely talk about that on another episode as it gets
Speaking of
closer.
free agency coming up, do you think Travis Kelce? He was given an ultimatum. He has to decide before free agency opens whether he's retiring, whether resigning. Do you think he's,
not
retiring?
No,
I think he's got
Yeah.
another 2
I don't.
years
I
left.
don't think now that they lost, he's not
Yeah,
retiring. If they
I-
would have won, he probably would have
I
retired.
could see that. Yeah, but
But now that they lost, he'll come back for another year.
yeah, I think he'll be back for another year or two. 2 at the most, probably.
James,
but-
who are you hoping that, and Cody, who are you hoping your teams pursue in free agency?
Free agency. I mean, Miles Garrett, obviously.
I mean, yeah.
we'll we'll see how well that works out.
Well, I want us to draft a quarterback, but in free agency, I just want to restructure Stafford's contract, keep him here for another year. That's the main focus. And then if we're trading Cup and we're not going to get a lot for him, unfortunately, if we're trading him, I wouldn't mind going out and getting somebody like T. Higgins. Pair him with
Or-
Puka Nacua.
Amari Cooper. He's a
I
free
would be
agent
fine
now.
with Cooper if we got him for cheap, but Dude, that would be so upsetting hearing the Coop chance and it's not for Cooper Kupp.
And it's Amari Cooper. Yeah,
Ugh.
that'd be crazy.
I always thought it'd be cool. Like I always like a few times in like fantasy football, I would get Amari Cooper because my
Yeah.
receiving core would be Cooper Kupp and Amari Cooper. So that would be pretty cool. So it would be cool to have them both on the Rams, but that's not going to happen, unfortunately. So we also need a solid linebacker. Our linebackers are weak. Omar Spates, I like him, but not exactly the most elite linebacker. We have Jared Verse is one of our outside linebackers, but I mean, our middle linebackers are a struggle. That's our biggest weak point on our roster.
Are there any good middle linebackers in the draft this year?
No clue.
Pull up a mock draft. Pull up the mock draft you just said. I'll look it up.
You're still slated to take a. Oh no, that was the Bills were.
The Bills need an edge. I would like an edge because Von Miller is not it. No offense to Von Miller, all-time Hall of Famer. He wasn't great
Super Bowl
this season.
champion. Two-time Super Bowl champion.
Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
He was not great this season. We need a
No.
We need a good edge.
And he's also
Our-
making a lot of money, isn't he?
Yeah,
Is he
too much.
making, like,
Too much money.
yeah,
Whatever
like,
it is, it's too much.
It's like $6 million or something like that. I
Our
don't know.
interior D linemen are pretty good. Ed Oliver, Greg Rousseau, they've been pretty good. We need somebody on the edge.
Another Wolverine that we didn't talk about yet that's going to get drafted in the first round, tight end Colston Loveland. I'm calling it right now, and I said this while watching Colston Loveland play for Michigan. Colston Loveland is going to be a top 3 tight end in the NFL in a few years. It's going to be him. It's going to be Brock Bowers and probably trying to think of another young tight end. Luke Schoonmaker.
Sure.
Sam Laporta.
Yeah, I was saying Laporta.
Oh yeah, Laporta.
Laporta.
But this is
Or,
when
Kyle
there's no
Pitts?
more.
Getting Kyle
Kyle
Pitts.
Pitts, or
If they get him involved more,
the Cardinals guy, the
McBride, Queen McBride.
Oh, yeah, McBride.
Trey McBride, Dalton Kincaid.
he'll be up there. I mean, the guy. This is like after guys like Kelsey and Andrews and
Yeah.
Kittle aren't
The
in the
top-
league anymore, or they're past their prime.
It
he's
has
gonna-
the Carolina Panthers drafting an edge / linebacker from Georgia, Jelon Walker. He's
Okay.
a linebacker.
Where are the Panthers at? Like the 6th pick?
The 8th.
8th? Okay.
The one I'm looking at
Let's see.
has us taking Darius Alexander from Toledo. He's a defensive tackle. We don't need a defensive tackle. I would not be happy with that. Let me try to
It has Colston Loveland going 22 to the Chargers.
really.
Yep.
This one I'm looking at has him going 20 to Denver. I would love for the Rams to get Colston Loveland because we could use another tight end to get involved with Higbee. But
Higbee's getting older, right?
but a first round pick on a tight end when we already have Higbee, I don't know if that's necessary. I would love to get Colston Loveland because I'm a Michigan fan. I think that'd be great, but
Would you rather draft a quarterback this year in the first round or a tight
yes,
end?
quarterback.
Quarterback.
I want them to
You-
draft a quarterback over anything, just to have somebody behind Stafford.
Even if you're not super high on any of them? Because that's what you were saying. You were like, you're not like super high on any of the
If-
prospects.
I mean, if Jackson Dart falls to our pick in the second round, I would love that. I think that's ideal.
No, I mean
but I
like,
don't
in
think
the first round. I mean, in the first round.
yeah,
That's
but
what I'm.
I don't. I mean, I'm fine with using a second round pick on a QB and then our first round pick on like a middle linebacker or, you know,
Fair enough.
a corner. We could use a corner. So, yeah, I think there's definitely a lot for the Rams to improve on. It's going to be a fun NFL offseason, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
Sure.
So that'll do it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next one. So long.
See you.